Yo guys, it's Market Scraper. So it's been an incredible week, and the story and the news have been kind of underwhelming. I'm just joking. There's been so much involvement in the different things and turning things around with the Wall Street bets, with GameStop, with the hedges, people shorting the stock, and all the news around the disablement of trading in terms of on the different platforms like Robinhood, which is in the spotlight. But there are other brokerages that have done similar things, including Etrade, a very similar thing. Somewhat of a restricted trades happen on Webull as well, and several other platforms. So it's definitely not singular to a specific platform. So there's a lot going on here. It could be the clearinghouses, it could be a lack of liquidity in some cases, and there are just several things, but there's a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of suspicious activity going on as well. And to support this movement, on Thursday, out of pure support and solidarity to the cause, I bought a share of GameStop. And I don't expect to make any gains from this transaction, at least at that time. Things have changed since then, but we'll get into that in a bit. And on Friday, I tried to buy more IPOE, which is going to be a reverse merger with SoFi. But today, the overlords would only permit one share. And so I wanted some more shares, but couldn't get them. So this was the plot thickens, is the main point here. And this Reddit post here by the user Jeff Amazon, this is a real masterpiece. And just keep in mind, though, that it's not Jeff Amazon that really put all these ideas necessarily together or came up with these ideas. He put them together extremely well and very compelling altogether in this magnificent document here, if I do say so myself. But keep in mind, and even he says right here, I stole some of these ideas from different articles on Seeking Alpha, Reddit, Google, etc. So he's not claiming credit for these trade ideas, but he wants to bring this out there and bring this to light and put it all together. And he's even saying that you don't have to listen to him, you can ignore him, but you can even short it, and good luck with that, and he'll take your money. This article is very well written. It's a real fun read, and I really encourage you guys to take a look at this and read through this entire article because this is some quality stuff right here. And he even has this disclaimer here. So for anyone who has a bad impression of Reddit and Wall Street Bets and kind of what's going on there, if people are just following people blindly, which could be the case, and he has a disclaimer here, just talking about some things here. So he's not saying that people should follow him blindly in any way, and he's not telling people to do this. He wants to just put this thesis out there because he thinks this is very interesting. He's kind of put all these pieces together in one, again, cohesive document, put all the strings together, and it really is a compelling read. And if there was a movie, which I think there absolutely will be a movie about Wall Street Bets in this situation, and I would title it literally Wall Street Bets. And this article would be a starting point for some Reddit user. This Reddit user, we don't know who this Reddit user would be. Maybe it's deep effing value. It could be someone else. It could be anyone. It could be this guy right here, Jeff Amazon. It doesn't really matter who it is, though. It could follow some guy, and it would talk about some of the things that are in this document literally. Basically, the premise. You saw Tesla go up crazy. And is it over, or can you have another opportunity? And he's claiming that this GameStop opportunity is an even greater opportunity. And keep in mind that this article was written 4 months ago. And he has his whole thesis here saying that these different pieces are coming together. And isn't GameStop going to be the next blockbuster? But he's arguing that GameStop is actually going to be the next Netflix. And this has a lot to do with the new CEO that just jumped in. And the new CEO is actually, he sold Chewy in 2017 for $3.3 billion. He is a long-term hold investor in what he does. He's actually one of the largest Apple owners. He's actually the largest owner of Apple as an individual owner, which is pretty incredible. So they have trust with this guy that he's going into GameStop and he's going to stay in there for the long term because he didn't do anything for 3 years until he jumped into GameStop. And in terms of when he posted this article, this was a week ago, right? So this is a pretty interesting catalyst and a belief in this new CEO that's really going to put this company on the spotlight and spin this around. And he talks about several different catalysts here. Even Michael Berry, who jumped into GameStop And that's pretty encouraging as well. So there's a lot of different things going into this document here. And this is literally the story here. And in this movie, it would definitely include Chamath Palihapitiya and the spotlight that he's taken within this issue. And then also simultaneously him running for governor and how that would play out. And this story as a movie would be more riveting than The Big Short and somewhat in between The Big Short and The Social Network. It would be somewhere in between that because you have so much social network kind of aspects going on here, and then big bombs just dropping with Elon Musk's tweet, with Chamath buying GameStop, with a ton of different things happening, with what Michael Berry's doing, and all these different catalysts. There's just so much content that you'd have to whittle this down to what you really want to show within this story. It's just amazing. All the different things that are going on here and all the different things that this guy predicted of why essentially this would go to a $300 or $400 stock price target. And he's been spot on with that so far. And again, he's talking about this idea that it's not the next blockbuster, it's Netflix. This is pretty insane. And so, reading this document, seeing the climate of people just not selling their shares, this stock could definitely increase even further. Has the fundamental analysis here. This is some great DD that this guy did. And again, if you're too lazy, didn't read, GameStop is vastly oversold at this point in time. Again, this was 4 months ago. It is not oversold anymore. This is just an incredible thing that this guy put together here. And this is absolutely true. And there's just so many key players in the Reddit scene that were so right about this. And it's so cool to see when you have retail investors get spot on in what will cause this to happen. And because a lot of people are saying that this run up is caused completely by retail investors, and this is not true whatsoever. He even outlines in this document that this is going to happen with or without retail investors. And he, for one, wants to be a part of this. Because once you have something happening, there's also just algorithms, there's other momentum players that just jump into stocks that move up a lot. You can see also what happened with Signal. Did retail investors cause Signal to spike this high? It wasn't just retail investors. There's a lot of other things going on. There could be just algorithms, momentum plays. A lot of things just click into place to make these dramatic runs. And it's not just the retail investor. And you can just be involved in this. So I think it's way overhyped that retail within themselves is causing this to happen. They definitely are having an impact and are continuing to having an impact in the moment. But this is something that was going to happen irregardless, which he outlined so eloquently. And one thing definitely to pay attention to, watch, and definitely subscribe to is the All In podcast. There's several different people there, but including Chamath Palihapitiya. And we have this video right here. They talk about the GameStop situation and why it happened. And in the research that one of Chamath's guys did, he definitely went through this document. Because after reading this document and watching this podcast, I can definitely see a lot of the similar points that Chamath brought up in his 1 or 2 pager that he talks about in the beginning of this video here. So definitely worth a watch, and definitely subscribe to All In Podcast for some pretty interesting content that they make and they talk about. And just a pivot, talking about some iPhone 12 news. I'm just joking. This is not iPhone 12 news. We all know the quote: "The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent." And this was a great quote just to know that the market can keep going up and up and up, or it can just keep going down, down, and down. So you don't necessarily want to place certain type of bets in the other direction, for example, because it can go higher longer than you think or lower longer than you think. So keep that in mind. But the quote that is amazing, that kind of surpasses this quote, is "We can remain retarded longer than they can stay solvent." And this was the greatest quote that I heard from this whole situation. And this was basically a Reddit user named Teeny36 posted that on Reddit. And so this was a great quote that a bunch of people are tweeting out there. And this is going to be one of the key quotes that surpasses this time and era. And we will know this as highly as this tweet possibly. I mean, I think it's right up there in terms of that, the class of that tweet and this tweet here. And of course, we're talking about iPhone 12s in some strange way, clearly. And with all of that, I bought a second share of GameStop just for funsies. And I'm going to end this right here. Hope you guys got some value from this content. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys.